Why?
All right, so like I said, we're going to talk about comparing and contrasting. Does anybody know what these two bubbles behind me are called when you put them together? What is this called?
I don't really know, but I know like what that's for.
That's good, but what's it called? Anybody know?
I forgot. Compare and contrast?
I mean, we're going to use it to compare and contrast.
I just read the thing up above it.
Yeah. This diagram is called a Venn diagram. You guys ever heard of that before?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have, but then, yeah.
No.
Well, that's all right. So what we're going to do, stay unmuted for just a second. Let's hear some answers. Maybe one at a time, though. So you might need to turn on your camera so I can see you and know who's going to talk. So we can do like a raising your hand type of thing. Okay? What does it mean to compare something? Michaela?
You can like one thing and another thing. You can compare their similarities.
Good. You compare the things that are similar, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what does it mean to contrast something?
Still me?
If you want to, yeah, go for it.
Okay. You can I forgot. It's the opposite of similar. Differences. There are differences.
Yep. So comparing, you're going to look for the things that are similar. Contrasting, you're going to look for the things that are different about something, right? Mm-hmm. So let's see. Yeah, let's do it. I'm going to present my screen and we're going to watch a video. It might be a little loud, so like maybe turn your volume down at first, just in case. But I'm going to present my screen and we're going to watch a video about comparing and contrasting, just as an overview. And then we will read a book and do a lesson. Can you guys see this YouTube video?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Hopefully it's not too loud. Here we go. Also, maybe turn your mics off so that everybody can hear it and there's no feedback. Ready?
Okay.
Okay, just checking. You guys can hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Wow, did you know that the bull shark has 50 rows of teeth? Bull sharks use their sharp teeth to bite and tear fish, turtles, and other prey. When a tooth breaks, another one moves into its place. You're reading about dolphins? Cool. Dolphins also have sharp teeth, but unlike bull sharks, they don't use them to tear their food. Instead, dolphins grab and swallow their prey whole. You're right, Moby. Sharks and dolphins are alike in some ways, and different in others. Looks like we need to play Sharks versus Dolphins. How do you compare? When you compare, you show how two or more things are alike. You describe how they're similar. Let's see. Guitars and basses are musical instruments. They both have strings and a neck. A guitar can be very loud. A bass can be too. When you compare things, you think about what they have in common. All right, Moby, are you ready to play Sharks versus Dolphins? Here we go. How are sharks and dolphins alike? Right, they're both animals. Yes, sharks can live in the ocean, and dolphins can too. What else else do they have in common? Think about how they look and act. Both animals can be gray and white. Yep, they're predators. That means both sharks and dolphins hunt other animals for food. Certain clue words let you know that two or more things are being compared. The words like, alike, same, also, to, both, similar, in common, and the same as can signal comparisons. Now it's time for round 2. How are dolphins and sharks different? How do you contrast? When you contrast, you show how two or more things are different. You describe how things are not alike. Let's see. That guitar has 6 strings, but the bass has 4 strings. The guitar can play high notes. However, the bass plays much lower notes. Are you ready? Let's play Sharks versus Dolphins. Okay, Moby, how are sharks and dolphins different? Right, Moby, sharks are fish, but dolphins are mammals. Right again. Dolphins and sharks breathe differently. Sharks breathe through gills, while dolphins use lungs to breathe. You're on a roll, Moby. Sharks make no sound. Dolphins, on the other hand, click, squeak, and whistle. They use these sounds to communicate and find their way around. Certain clues let you know that two or more things are being contrasted. The words different, differ, difference, unlike, although, even though, instead, however, and on the other hand, can signal that the writer is pointing out differences.
All right. So there is some information just on contrasting, just so that and comparing. Because we are going to pretty much do that same exact thing that they did with dolphins and sharks. Not like a game show, though. But I have this book. Can you guys see it a little bit? It's called Who Would Win? So we're going to read about grizzly bears and polar bears, find some things that are similar, find some things that are different, and then talk about who you guys would think would win in a fight. Sound good? Alrighty. So, I wonder if I can set. Boom. Okay, I'm not going to be able to see you guys very well because I have it set on my computer so that I can see what I write as well, because I record these so that they can go on Schoology for the people that don't come. So I have it set so I can't really see you guys. So if you need something, you're going to have to like unmute and let me know. Sound good? I need like a yeah, by the way.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So let me go back to the other view just real quick. Or not. That's fine. Do you guys need like 30 seconds to go grab a piece of paper and stuff? It might be helpful if you guys write this down with me so that you have it as reference for tomorrow. You're going to do something super similar tomorrow for your assignment.
Okay.
So I'm going to wait like 30 seconds before we start. So go ahead and go find something to write with and draw this. And I'm going to write.
I got my notebook this time.
Good. So I'm going to label one of these circles as polar bear, and the other one's going to be the grizzly bear.
Do I need to write down that diagram thing?
You don't have to. That's just what it's called.
Okay.
Those of you that are still here, what goes in the middle? So we have the things that are only for the polar bear, the things that are only for the grizzly. Good, I heard it. These are the things that are the same. Oops.
They're both bear.
So we're going to write that in the middle. And I heard someone say it. What's the very first thing that's the same about them?
They're both bears.
Yeah, before we even start, we can say that they're bears.
I know how they're different.
Well, we're going to read a lot about why they're different. So we'll get into those details in a second.
Okay.
Alrighty, are we ready? I'm going to take that as a yes. So I'm going to stand a little bit closer so that you guys can see this. It's pretty clear, right? We're all good with that?
What does the same say?
Behind us? Which part?
The
This one says grizzly bear. In the middle it says these things are the same, and it's the same. The bears are the same. And then this side says polar bear. Okay. And then, like I said, you guys can make me so that I'm the biggest thing on your screen. If you click on those dots in the corner of your screen, you guys can see me better. But I'm also recording it, so if you can't see, I'm going to put this online on Schoology after we finish, so you can always go back and kind of rewatch it and see it from a bigger point of view if you can't figure it out. But I'm going to start reading it, okay? So we have who would win, polar bear versus grizzly bear. And it says, I'm going to read it like this. During the Arctic winter, polar bears and grizzly bears live far away from each other. But during the summer months, while looking for food, polar bears and grizzly bears sometimes end up in the same location. What would happen if they met up with each other? What would happen if they had a fight? And who would win?
Where's the other one?
Okay. Real quick, who do you guys think will win, the grizzly or a polar bear? Before we even start.
Grizzly.
Grizzly?
Ugh.
Who else? Anybody else who thinks it will win?
I think grizzly.
The grizzly. Michaela says grizzly.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Okay.
it would be in a warm climate, I guess. And polar bears are in cold climate.
I'm missing someone. Sorry, I'm trying to keep track of everybody that's here. So yeah. Okay, I got everybody. All right. So let's start off by reading a little bit about the polar bear. It says that the scientific name of the polar bear is Ursus. Oh man, it's in Latin. Maritimus. Meet the polar bear. Polar bears are considered sea mammals. They spend most of their time on the frozen sea. They prefer to live near the edge of the ice pack. They are the largest of all bears. There's our polar bear. Then this fun fact says there are no polar bears in Antarctica. And then down at the bottom it says, remember, North Pole, polar bears are in the North Pole. Penguins are in the South Pole. So there's no penguins in the Arctic. There's all kinds of facts in these books. Okay. So based off this page, what's one thing that we can write down about the polar bears that's different already? What is different about the polar bears?
They live in cold climate.
Yeah, they live, they're considered sea mammals, spend most of their time in the frozen sea. Okay, so I'm going to write that down on our first one. Under polar bears, right? So we have that they live in the cold? Okay, that's one of the big ones. They live in the cold for sure. So go ahead and write that one down.
They're also the biggest bears.
Are they? I think it tells us that later in the book, so we'll keep that in mind. So the next one, grizzly bear, on this side. The scientific name is Ursus arctos horribilis. So meet the grizzly bear. Grizzly bears are mammals that live on land. You can tell grizzlies by the huge hump on their shoulders. It's a muscle that they use for digging. And then a fun fact here, it says, did you know that there are no grizzly bears in the southern hemisphere?
Southern Hemisphere?
The southern hemisphere is the southern part of the world.
Oh.
Yeah. And what about grizzly bears can we write on their side that's different about them? What do you think?
They live in warm climate.
Yeah, they live in the warm, right?
One is brown and one is white.
We'll get there. Live in warm. Can you guys read this okay up here?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. Remember, if anything, I'm going to put it online after, so you'll be able to see it better. All right, let's talk about what they look like, some of those differences. So we're going to start with the polar bear. This page says, polar bears have snow white fur. Their colors allow them to blend in with their environment, which is the snow, the slush, and the ice. Okay, and then this fun fact says, polar bears actually have black skin. So their fur is white, but their skin is black. And then here, polar bears are also called ice bears, the Nanook, white bear, or a sea bear. And then did you know, a polar bear's white fur is actually translucent. So it means it's kind of see-through or clear. So based on this page, what's one thing that we could put for the polar bear on our Venn diagram?
They have white fur.
White fur. Pretty easy one there, right?
They have black skin and white fur.
Yep.
Their fur is white because they're in the snow for so long.
Yeah.
Their hair kind of adapts to that color.
Yeah, it's better for them to have white fur so that they blend in with the snow, right? Their environment helps them change.
They can eat and
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go over the grizzly bear. So here's our grizzly page. It says, grizzly bears come in 4 different colors, dark brown, brown, reddish brown, and blonde. So we got all these different colors. It also said that grizzlies are called silver tips. So they've got dark brown, brown, reddish brown, and blonde. And these colors allow the grizzlies to blend in with their environment, fallen leaves, dirt, rocks, and trees. So what's the typical color of a grizzly bear?
Brown.
That brown, right? So we're just going to write brown fur on here. So brown fur helps them blend into their environment, which is usually like dirt and rocks and trees and things like that. So if, let's say, a grizzly bear somehow ended up where polar bears live, do you think they'd be easy to spot?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
absolutely.
Yep. They'd stand out like a sore thumb. All right, let's talk about how big they are. Polar bear first. It says they're 10 feet tall if they stand up.
10 feet?
Right, that's huge, huh? So at the bottom it says, polar bears are the largest predatory land animals. Polar bears can grow to be 10 feet tall. Here is a kindergartner next to a polar bear. So right here it says that this kindergartner is 3 feet tall and this polar bear is 10 feet tall.
Kindergartners are 3 feet tall.
Apparently. Not all of them, just this one. Okay. So we can write that down on the polar bear. What would we write down about them?
That they're 10 feet. They can grow to 10 feet.
10 feet tall. So they can be 10 feet tall.
I'm writing this down in chat, so like if the people like join, they can like copy down these
Thanks, Charles.
if you want.
Thanks. I've been writing the whole thing.
That's totally fine. All right, and then the next one that we have, grizzly. How tall does it say they can get?
8 feet.
8 feet tall. So this one, this person standing, it says that they're about 5 feet tall, and then this grizzly is 8 feet tall. The bottom says a grizzly bear can stand 8 feet tall. They tower over you. That would be huge compared to me. I don't know how many of you guys have seen me in person, but I'm pretty short. So.
I haven't seen any bear in person.
No, I mean me. I'm short. All right. So what should I write under grizzly bear over here?
That they're 8 feet.
Good. Okay, they can be 8 feet tall. Let's see what else we got. All right, we're gonna read 2 pages and then talk about those ones. So this one is about how big their claws and their feet are and stuff. So it says a polar bear paw is larger than this book. So polar bear paws are bigger than this whole thing. And that's the actual size of a claw, which is huge. It's like as long as my finger. So that's huge and terrifying. Would not like that, right? And then if we look at the grizzly bear, it said this is a grizzly track. The track is a footprint, and their front claws can be 4 inches long. So this is the actual size of a claw, and this one is bigger, even bigger than my finger. So also huge and terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
So these claws are both huge and awful. Would we consider these differences or similarities?
Differences?
Why difference?
Because their claws are different sizes.
They are different sizes, but not by very much.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you met these things in person, would you be like, oh, but you know, your claw isn't as big as that grizzly bear's? What would you say?
I'd be like, ah, and run away.
Yeah, probably like, holy cow, both of them have huge, sharp claws. So
No,
this-
once I recite them, I just run away. I don't even like
I would say, wow, cool. And stand there for a little bit and then start running after a while until it comes
I don't
good.
think you're supposed to run away from a grizzly bear or else they'll chase you.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point. In this case, we're going to count the fact that their claws are huge, as a similarity, because when you're up close with one, if that ever happens, hopefully it doesn't happen to you. But if you're ever that close to one, you're not going to like compare the sizes. You're just going to be like, both bears have huge claws, right? So we're going to write that as a similarity. Okay? Let's see. Okay, let's read another couple pages. This one, polar bear on this side. They're going to talk about their teeth. Open wide, polar bears have carnivore teeth, canine teeth in the front, and huge molars in the back. This is a cool fact. Polar bears can smell a seal through 3 feet thick ice. Wow, that was really hard to get out. It's like a tongue twister. So again, huge teeth. Don't need to see them in person, right?
This.
And then on this side, the grizzly bear. Grizzly bears have teeth that are similar to a polar bear's. Grizzlies have such a good sense of smell that they can detect a dead animal 10 miles away. So, again, I think I see 2 similarities on here. What could be one?
Teeth.
Their teeth.
They can both open their mouth really wide.
I mean, yeah, there's that too, but what's inside that's not great?
Teeth.
Teeth. So they have huge teeth. Super sharp teeth. But there's also one other thing on this page that I thought was important. So it talks about the polar bear being able to smell a seal through a really thick piece of ice, and then grizzly bears can smell a dead animal from 10 miles away. So what's important about that?
Their sense of smell.
Their sense of smell. They're both really good, right?
Yep.
So we're going to write that one down in similarities.
Where's your homework packet at?
Great. Oops. Great sense of smell. Because, humans can't smell things like that are more than like 10 feet away. So we don't have great senses of smell, like at all. Okay, let's talk about some speed, how fast they go. A polar bear can run 25 miles per hour. That's faster than any human can run. Polar bears can run down some caribou. So that's actually one of their prey. They eat caribou. So who would win if they had a fight? The polar bear? Oh, we'll get there. So what's important about this page?
The running.
They're running, but how fast?
25 miles per hour.
25 miles per hour. So we're going to write that in the polar bear one. Their speed is 25 miles per hour. Okay. Our next one. Sorry, I know I'm going a little bit fast, but I don't want to make like an hour-long video. That would be a lot, right? So we're going to keep chugging along. The next one, grizzly bears. They look slow, but don't be fooled. Grizzly bears can easily outrun a human. They're fast. How fast does it say these ones are?
35.
35. That's really fast. I'm just going to say. Real fast. So we're going to write that in grizzly bears. Their speed. 35 miles per hour. Okay, we're going to skip that page. All right, this doesn't really have to do with the differences between them, but there's some funny stories in here about polar bears and grizzly bears. So we're going to read them before we talk about who would win. So this first one, sorry, I'm trying to get it to go. There we go. This picture right here, it says, a U.S. nuclear sub, like a submarine, surfaced in the Arctic, only to find a few polar bears snooping around. So they surfaced and their periscope is up out of the water and there's a polar bear staring at them. The next one, sometimes polar bears take naps in the funniest of positions. And then on the bottom it says, a famous nature photographer waited for days to get a good picture of a polar bear. He was eating lunch in his pickup truck one day when he saw a big surprise in his rear view mirror. I don't think I'd like that. I'm out in the middle of the woods and then all of a sudden there's a bear behind me. No, thank you. All right, and then some fun stories about grizzly bears. This one says, an Alaskan man came home to find a grizzly bear relaxing in his jacuzzi. Next one, a sailor anchored in a harbor in Alaska was awakened by a noise. He found a grizzly walking around his yacht. Scared out of his wits, he pushed the grizzly bear off with an oar. And then finally, using a cheeseburger, a tourist lured a grizzly bear into his car. The foolish man wanted to get a nice picture of the bear sitting with his wife. The woman screamed and the confused bear ran away. Because probably not a great idea to offer a grizzly bear a cheeseburger. So we're not going to write any of those down because it's not necessarily super important to the differences. But we're at a point where the book is going to give us like one scenario of what would happen if they fought each other. So we're not going to read it just yet. Why don't you guys tell me, you can just say it out loud, who do you think would win? Based off of this information, did your thoughts change? Or who do you guys think would win?
I think it'd be a fair battle.
A fair battle? All right. Does anybody think that the polar bear will win?
Yeah, I can't really like decide because like polar bears are taller, but
Their claws are
grizzly bears are faster
That's true.
because
That
like
is true.
polar bears are bigger.
Yeah, I don't know either. What about grizzly? Anybody think like for sure that the grizzly would win?
I think it would go by chance. Like, it depends on how it is that day that they fight.
All right. Well, the book has a scenario, so we're gonna read it and see. So it says, can you guys even see it? It's like a small picture.
No.
It says, in summer, a polar bear steps off the ice onto the beach. A grizzly bear comes out of the woods. They see each other. They can smell each other. Both bears stand to get a better look. And then it happens. The grizzly bear charges at the polar bear, growling and showing his teeth. So they're on pretty fair ground, right? The grizzly isn't in the woods, so he's not really in his territory. And the polar bear is not on ice. So they're kind of on fair ground here. How do you think it should go? Any ideas? No? All right. Next one. The polar bear crouches down, paws up, ready for the battle. Running at full speed, the grizzly bear knocks over the polar bear. The polar bear gets right up and fights back. Whack! He smacks the grizzly in the face. Ouch! They claw and scratch and bite. It's a nasty fight. I don't know if you can tell in the picture, but they've got like scratches on their noses and all kinds of stuff.
No, I can't tell.
Yeah, so they're going at it. Not good. Okay. They wrestle, trying to take the advantage. Rolling around, both bears get dirty from the sand and the mud. They're still fighting. Still no upper hand. And then, the grizzly bear is relentless. It keeps on fighting, and suddenly the polar bear sees no point in fighting anymore. There's no reason to fight to the death, so the polar bear runs away. The grizzly bear wins, but now he is sore and tired. He hopes he never runs into a polar bear again. These two bears are so similar that the next time the outcome could be quite different. So who technically won the fight?
The bear. The bear.
Which bear? Which bear? There's two bears.
I know.
The scenario.
The brown bear.
Yeah, the grizzly. Technically, they said that the grizzly won, right? Because the polar bear walked away.
Yeah.
But
And it says that the grizzly bear wins the fight.
yeah, so that's kind of all we're gonna do today in terms of this. There's no assignment for you guys to go do online or anything. But tomorrow, on Google Classroom, I have another one of these Who Would Win books, and I read it on a video. So you'll watch that video and basically do the same process. But at the end, it asks you to write a paragraph about who you think would win and why, and explaining it. So that's going to be your assignment tomorrow, but not today. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So today was just a practice with me, and then tomorrow you're going to try it on your own. Okay, I'm going to see if I can get out of this view so I can see everybody. There we go. Now I can see everybody. All right, let me make sure I got everybody here so I can give you credit for coming. So I got Olivia, Charles, Michaela, Alani, Cheyenne, Lottie, Jada, Taiwan, and Elijah. I think I got everybody. Did you guys see anybody else come on and then leave while I was doing this? Or was it just you guys the whole time?
Not that I remember.
Alrighty. Well then.